Now here new at 11, many JCPS bus drivers called out today and did not drive those school buses this morning or this afternoon. It's the largest number of single-day call-outs for bus drivers this year. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us on the night team. I'm Doug Proffitt. The last student was dropped off at home at 7:18 tonight. WHAS11 night team's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Aspen Hester say parents are worried about the uncertainty.
As another school week comes to a close, frustration mounts over an ongoing busing meltdown, this time due to driver sickouts.
I just wish someone would stand up and address the issues as they are.
A JCPS spokesperson says Friday marked the highest number of drivers calling off the job it's seen all year, as 92 bus drivers took off work to take a stand against some working conditions.
The first thought that came to me is, how is this acceptable? How is my child supposed to be able to make it to school today?
While the Ray family takes no issue with the planned sickout.
I don't blame the drivers. I blame JCPS.
They're among the JCPS parents who felt the brunt of Friday's delays.
Can't rely on the bus system to get your child to school.
They say their JCPS 7th grader was set to take a substitute bus to school Friday morning. When it didn't show up on time, Don Ray called the JCPS bus depot.
And that's when I learned that the bus didn't have a driver and he would not be a bus today.
So I had to turn around on my way to work and take him to school.
Melissa Ray says it's the second time she's had to drive her son to school this week. One of the most pressing issues for bus drivers this year is student behavior. A spokesperson with JCPS says that the district is developing a new system to address that, but parents are left wondering how much longer they'll have to wait for results.
People say, well, why can't you let us know earlier if our route is going to be impacted? Well, it's really hard to do that when you don't know who's going to call out and what route that is.
I see it, the district's deflecting their responsibility off to the bus driver. It has to start from the top and work its way to the bottom to fix this antiquated system that we have.
In social media posts from this week, JCPS bus drivers have said frustrations stem from long and complicated bus routes and an ongoing staffing shortage, among other things. The Rays understand, but say their focus remains on their son.
The student's education should be priority, and it's not through Jefferson County Public Schools.
An ongoing busing issue many parents feel has an uncertain future. In Louisville, Connor Steffen, the WHAS 11 night team, on your side.
And again, while they all clear came at 7:18 tonight. A JCPS spokesperson says bus drivers dropped off most students by 6:40 p.m. Looking ahead to Monday, the school district also says schools will still be in session even if it again sees a similar number of bus driver call-outs. All new within the past hour, we just got the early voting totals for today for Metro Louisville. That's day 2 of early voting in Kentucky, and they are up over yesterday. Nearly 14,500 people turned out across 10 locations in Jefferson County. The Jeffersonian in J-Town once again saw the largest number with 2,600 people voting there today. Jefferson County Clerk's spokesperson Aaron Huber telling us this is surprising, that usually they see a drop between the first and the last days of early voting. Remember, you can vote tomorrow. Yes, Saturday voting is available. Polls open again tomorrow at 8 in the morning and close at 6 in the evening. And go to the WHAS 11 voter guide where you can find the nearest location. It's at WHAS11.com. The high-profile battle underway for the state's top law enforcement job, replacing Daniel Cameron as Kentucky Attorney General. It's underway. Louisville Democrat Pam Stevenson, who served as an Air Force colonel, and former U.S. Attorney Republican Russell Coleman of Paducah. Stevenson aims to be the first black woman to lead the Attorney General's office. One of her big priorities, protecting senior citizens from fraud and the youngest Kentuckians from abuse in the foster care system. Meantime, after catching up with Coleman at a campaign stop in Shepherdsville today, we asked him about his priorities.
Yeah, folks need to know that my priorities are violent crime, pushing back on the violence we're seeing all across our Commonwealth.
Children don't have homes. What are we doing so that they can fulfill the life that they have?
Democrats have long held the Attorney General office. Cameron became the first Republican since 1948 to hold it. If Coleman is elected and if Daniel Cameron were to win, it will be the first time since 2015 that the governor and attorney general have come from the same party. All new right now on the night team. Well, if you are tired of the race for governor and attorney general, here's an issue on election night that is so local it's surprising, especially since alcohol sales in Louisville are everywhere. But as WHAS11 Night Team's Taylor Wood shows us, one small section of Clifton Heights on Brownsboro Road could go dry with a vote on Tuesday.
This bar sits on Brownsboro Road in what is known as Precinct N163. The Virtue Bar and Lounge could make for one of election night's most interesting stories.
We're being targeted. That why would you make such a small precinct only dry alcohol and not go extend and do the entire division? Some
residents want to stop alcohol sales by voting the precinct dry. The bar is the only restaurant selling alcohol in the district. The precinct runs from Brownsboro Road over to Melwood Avenue.
And with Election Day just days away, owner Tony Frank is concerned for his business as this precinct vote affects a portion of his sales.
Alcohol is 40% of his total revenue. This move comes after several litter and noise complaints from residents.
Cars racing up and down streets. It was people that were having verbal arguments, people that were physically engaged.
Allison Johnson is Clifton Heights Council president, who asked us not to show her on camera. Frank says he has worked closely with the community, putting up signs, security cameras, along with security from LMPD.
Patrol that comes every Friday and Saturday night, which are typically our higher volume nights, and they'll help us kind of clear the lot, disperse. It makes sure people are leaving safely and getting home safely to their families.
Johnson says the enforcement worked with less complaints coming in. However, Frank still questions why this wet or dry vote only affects his restaurant in the area.
Why just this small portion means so much to that such small community?
Now it's up to voters to decide.
The group of people that organized to get this on the ballot, they've been knocking on doors and trying to get people, I guess, motivated to vote.
Frank hopes Clifton Heights residents will think hard about their decision when they vote.
Think about why you're voting dry and how it impacts other communities around you. We might not be your favorite bar, but what if your favorite bar was going through the same thing?
In Louisville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Well, if over 50% of Clifton Heights residents vote no, then the district would go dry 60 days from the entry date of the certificate. A heads up about election night. We're going to be here at 7 Tuesday night with a special 1-hour live election report for you. The polls close in Western Kentucky at 7 our time, so this will be a big hour of the votes being counted. See you live at 7 on Tuesday night, election night. Late today, we learned that a second worker has died under the debris of a 10-story coal plant in far eastern Kentucky that collapsed. Governor Andy Beshear confirming the death of Alvin Nees. Nees was trapped in the debris with Billy Daniels. The collapse happened after a planned demolition of the building instead accidentally fell the wrong direction. Governor Beshear calling the situation heartbreaking and asking the Commonwealth to join him in praying for the families and the entire Martin County community that's on the West Virginia border. Crews tonight removed both bodies from the debris.